It started with a single message, a quiet digital trace that would later become one of the most haunting clues. In a case filled with silence, confusion, and unanswered questions, because on June 14th, 2017, in Brentwood, we need to explore why this happened. The disappearance of Alex Sloley from his student accommodation is a case we need to solve. And within hours, he would vanish without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that feels almost impossible in the modern world.
Because this wasn't the 1980s or 90s. This was an era of smartphones, CCTV cameras, digital footprints.
The time where almost every movement leaves some kind of record, and yet, somehow, he was disappeared, as if he had simply stepped out of reality itself. So, stay with me, because as we go deeper into this case, you'll begin to realize that this isn't just about a disappearance. It's about a series of strange events, missed opportunities, and a silence that has lasted for years. And by the end, you'll be left asking the same chilling question. How does someone vanish in a world where everything is tracked? The timeline begins with what seemed like a normal day. Alex was a college student, studying, living a routine life. Nothing about his behavior suggested he was planning to leave. Nothing indicated distress or danger, but on the day he disappeared, something was different, subtle, almost invisible at first.
But significant in hindsight. He left his accommodation early in the morning, without taking many of his belongings.
No clear explanation, no obvious destination, just a quiet exit that would become the last confirmed moment he was seen. And that's where the mystery begins to unfold. Because from that point forward, there are no confirmed sightings.
No verified interactions, no digital activity that clearly maps his movements. And it's as if the moment he stepped outside, the trail simply ended.
Investigators began searching immediately, reviewing CCTV footage, analyzing phone records, speaking to friends. He tried to reconstruct his last known movements, but what they found was not clarity, but absence, gaps in the timeline, missing pieces. And that absence is what makes this case so deeply unsettling, because in a world filled with surveillance, you expect to find something.
A camera capturing a direction, a transaction showing a location, a signal from a phone indicating movement.
But here, there was almost nothing, and that raises the first major question. Did Alex choose to disappear? Did he intentionally step away from his life? Or did something happen in those critical moments that prevented him from continuing? The theories surrounding this case are complex and often conflicting. One theory suggests that Alex may have been dealing with internal struggles, that he made a decision to leave, to distance himself, to start over. But this theory struggles to explain the complete lack of trace, because even in cases of voluntary disappearance, there are usually signs, small clues that point to preparation or movement, and in this case, those signs are minimal at best. Another theory points to the possibility of an accident, but
that something happened after he left, something that removed him from public view. But again, extensive searches
of the surrounding areas have not produced evidence to support this, which leads to a more unsettling possibility that Alex encountered someone, that in those early hours he crossed paths with an individual or individuals who altered the course of his fate. And that possibility is particularly chilling because it suggests that the disappearance occurred in a moment.
A brief interaction that left no clear trace, no witnesses, no evidence strong enough to confirm what happened.
And as investigators continued their work, they faced a challenge that is becoming increasingly common in modern cases. The paradox of technology, the idea that while we are more connected and more visible than ever, it has never been easier to disappear. It is still possible for someone to disappear completely, if the conditions align, if the timing is right, if the moment goes unnoticed. And that's what makes this case so haunting, because it forces us to confront the limitations of the systems we rely on.
The gaps that still exist, the moments that can slip through unnoticed. Over the years, the case has remained open.
Periodic updates, renewed searches, continued efforts. But the core mystery remains unchanged. He left his accommodation, and then nothing. No confirmed sightings, no definitive evidence, because it represents not just the absence of a person, but the absence of answers, the absence of closure. And as you think about this case, consider how easily it could happen, how a single moment, a single decision, a single encounter can create a gap that cannot be easily filled. Because in the end, this isn't just a story about one person. I used to believe in answers, but lately, the more I uncover, the less I know. How quickly it all falls apart. And as we reach the end, one question remains. The same question that has been asked since that morning in Brentwood. Somewhere in that moment lies the truth. A truth that has yet to be uncovered. And until it is, this case will remain one of the most chilling modern mysteries. A story defined not by evidence, but by its absence. And the unsettling realization that even in a world where everything is watched,